Hello, sixth graders. So today we're going to begin a new lesson. It's all about absolute value. And it's related to our previous lessons because constantly in lessons 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3, I really emphasized understanding how far away a number is from zero. Okay? And that's very similar to what absolute value is. Absolute value is the distance a number is from zero on a number line, okay? So that's what the definition of absolute value is, how far away a number is from zero on a number line. Now, absolute value is written using these symbols like that, okay? They're just basically parallel lines that surround a number. And that's the symbol that is used to represent absolute value. So we're going to determine what the absolute values are of -6 and 6. So step 1, graph the numbers -6 and 6 on a number line. So you see these two red dots, okay? Drag those two red dots to where you see -6 on the number line, and then drag it also to where you see 6 on the number line. So I graphed it at -6, and I graph it at 6, okay? So that's where your dots should look like on that number line, all right? So I see -6 right here, and I see 6. All right, that's step 1. We're just determining where those numbers are on the number line. Now, we determined -6 was here and 6 was here. Find the distance each point is from 0. Okay, so how far away is -6 from 0? Well, -6 is 6 units from 0. How far away is 6 from 0? Well, +6 is also 6 away from 0. Okay, so both -6 and +6 are 6 away from 0. And if we look back at the definition of what absolute value is, it's just the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. So the absolute value, and again, you see these lines around -6. The absolute value of -6 is 6, because that's how far away it is from 0. And the absolute value of 6 is also 6, because that's how far away it is from 0. Okay, so both of those values, if you find the absolute value of them, you get the same exact number because they are both 6 units away from 0. And they're both positive because if you look at this little star or like exclamation, it says that distance is never negative. And that makes sense because if I'm saying that I'm biking in a direction to my friend's house, I'm not going to say I'm biking -2 miles away. I'm just saying I'm biking 2 miles away. So distance is never negative. So since both values are the same distance from 0, they have the same absolute value. So very quick lesson on absolute value, okay? It's really just finding the distance away a number is from 0 on a number line, all right? So I'm going to do a little example, all right? So let's say I have the absolute value of -2, okay? What is the absolute value of -2? Meaning, how far away is -2 from 0? Well, -2 is 2 away from 0. So the absolute value of -2 is equal to 2. What about the absolute value of 1/4? Okay, you see these parallel lines means that you're finding the absolute value. What is the absolute value of -1/4? How far away is -1/4 from 0? Well, -1/4, I'm sorry, not -1/4, just 1/4 is 1/4 away from 0. Okay. What is the absolute value of -17? The absolute value of -17, again, -17 is 17 units away from 0. So the absolute value of -17 is 17. Okay. So those are some just absolute value questions. My next thing I want to say is that you can also order absolute values from least to greatest. So for example, if you have the following absolute values, okay? If you have all these absolute values, you have the absolute value of -3, the absolute value of 4, the absolute value of -12, the absolute value of 7, and the absolute value of 5. And I tell you to order from greatest to least. A lot of people, if they're thinking ordering these numbers from greatest to least, they may automatically look at that 7 and say, oh, if they didn't know anything about absolute value, they would think that 7 is the greatest value out of all of these. But is that technically true? Is this 7 the greatest value? Okay. No, the greatest value actually, if we actually found what each of these values stand for, the absolute value of -3 is 3. The absolute value of 4 is 4. The absolute value of -12 is 12. The absolute value of 7 is 7 because it's 7 away from 0. The absolute value of -5 is 5 away from 0. So looking at these ordering from greatest to least, what absolute value actually has the largest or greatest value? The absolute value of -12 has the largest value. So absolute value of -12 will be the greatest. What is the next value that has the greatest absolute value, greatest value? 7. So 7 would be next. What absolute value has the next greatest value? Absolute value of -5, which is 5. And the next one, absolute value of 4, absolute value of -3. So if you are asked to compare or order values, okay, you want to make sure you're actually finding the absolute value. That's the thing that you're comparing. So you're not really looking at the number inside. You're looking at how far away that number is from 0. And that's the number that you're comparing. So lastly, if we were comparing the absolute value of -12 and the absolute value of 7, which value would be greater? What it actually stands for. So basically you're comparing which one is farthest away from 0. That's going to be the greatest value because -12 is 12 away from 0. -7 is 7 away from 0. So absolute value of -12, the value that it stands for, what it actually is greater than the absolute value of 7. Okay, so attached to this Edpuzzle is going to be a little Google form that just has you, again, practicing coming up with absolute values and comparing those values, ordering the values, and just making sure that you feel comfortable with absolute value. All right. We also are going to have an iReady lesson as well today. Okay, so make sure that you log into iReady through the Clever login and complete that iReady lesson. If you have any questions, just let me know. Have a great day. Bye.